see the documentary on Monday night?
So it's only streaming. It's a live global streaming event, which means it's playing all over the world at the same time. You can still get tickets at www.mytruthdoc.com.
Right.
Mytruthdoc.com. Tickets are only $20 for the entire household. Everybody can watch it together, and it's an important film. Please don't miss it.
All right, Corey Feldman, there he is. Thank you very much.
Invite a vampire into your house, you silly boy. It renders you powerless.
Did you know that? Of course. Everyone knows that.
That's Corey Feldman and Corey Haim in the 1980s classic The Lost Boys. The two were not only huge teen stars in the 80s, they were also best friends. They experienced Hollywood's highest highs, but also lowest lows, falling victim to drugs, and as Feldman explains, even sexual abuse at the hands of some of Hollywood's biggest stars.
I found some Quaaludes. Let's do a Quaalude together. And we had some girls over. So we all decided to do some Quaaludes. Well, the girls left, and then I remember I couldn't even stand up, so I crawled myself into my bedroom, and I crawled myself up to my bed, and I passed out. And he crawled himself next to me, and he passed out. And I figured we were asleep for the night. And all of a sudden, I wake up to him unbuttoning my pants. And I freaking jumped up. And I was like, I went off.
Corey Feldman, the star and producer of the upcoming documentary My Truth, The Rape of Two Coreys, which is out on Monday night. He joins me now. So, sadly, as most people know, Corey Haim passed away. You guys were very close. And
Indeed.
There have been allegations that, I guess, men in Hollywood at the time when you guys were coming of age did things to you against your will, and you've been trying to tell your story, but you've had a very hard time doing it. Explain what's happened.
Well, it's been a long process, so this has been going on for quite some time. It started when I wrote my book. Well, it actually started before that when it was brought up as a topic on the Two Coreys TV show on A&E back in 2007, 2008. But what happened since that time is, Corey Haim passed away in 2010. So on March 10th is the 10-year anniversary of his passing. In 2013, I wrote a best-selling New York Times book, which was called Choreography. We told the details of the story in that book, but when I went to print, even though I wrote everything down as it happened and with the names included in the book, the publishers, attorneys and insurance people didn't like the fact that we were being so honest, and they asked us to change the names. So we changed the names there. Then we did a movie of the week a few years later for the Lifetime channel, and it was called A Tale of Two Coreys. Same thing. The producers wanted us to change the names in the script.
So you've gotten a lot of pressure,
tried to tell this story,
right, from lawyers, from powerful people in Hollywood, and they don't want the names coming out, and the names are going to come out on Monday night when this becomes available.
That's right.
So, the allegation specifically, you were, I guess, molested, you say, by an older man when you were a child, and Corey...
I was molested by two men. Two men molested me, and several men molested my best friend.
How old were you when you were molested?
I was 14 and 15 and 16, so it happened basically from the late part of 14 all the way through the middle part of 16.
Were these two men kind of in the same social circle? Because you use the phrase pedophile ring, or it seems like a conglomeration of people.
Absolutely, yeah. These people literally were all friends. They all hung out together. They all took notes from each other and basically compared notes. I mean, it was very, very sick. But yes, the man who, first of all, the first man who molested me worked for my father. He was part of my father's company, which was a management company in Hollywood where they were grooming child stars, of all things. And he introduced me to this man. This man came into my life. He started feeding me drugs. He started feeding me alcohol. I'd never done a drug in my life. I was a very, conservative, goody two-shoes kind of kid. And all of a sudden this guy's, hey, try this, try that. And then he basically kept trying different mixtures on me until I passed out and he could take advantage of me, which he did on a regular basis. But the worst one was the guy who, you know, we all trusted. I started hanging out with him when I was 11 years old because my mom put me in his car and said, go with this guy because his dad is the head of casting for a major studio. And I'm not going to give it away. You can watch it in the movie. But the point is he was the head of casting for a major studio. So obviously this is a great opportunity for you. So get in the car with him. And I start going off with this guy. And next thing you know, this guy is having these giant parties that only include all the most famous children in Hollywood. That's who would go to his private parties at his house. And these kids were getting molested at this house. So, you know,
is this guy
that's
still
just one piece of the
active?
puzzle. Well, he's still alive. He's still on the streets. He's not in jail. And he's still out there. And it turned out that the guy who was supposedly his father wasn't his father at all, but was his gay lover. So that just goes to show you how twisted the whole situation was. Kids should have never been in that home.
Are you going to go to the police about this once this
I did go to the
documentary
police.
drops?
Oh, no. I went to the police back in 1993.
And what happened?
Back in 1993, well, what happened was they were investigating Michael Jackson at the time. It was the first Santa Barbara investigation, and they came to me and they said, we think your friend is a pedophile. You know, this is why. And I said, well, I'm sorry that you guys think that, but I don't have that experience with him, but I have been molested. I can tell you what a real pedophile is like because I've experienced it.
Right.
So, you know, this is what happened to me.
All right, so
and they didn't care about that at the time. They buried
Right.
the information and they never investigated
Right.
it.
So where
And then
can
I went back and
people?
I filed another report 2 years ago, and then they didn't pursue that one because they said it was out of the statute of limitations. So since such time, we've actually helped to change the laws here in California,
There
and
you go.
now there's a new 3-year window to do a look back on anything prior to 2017, which means now that we're laying out the breadcrumbs, investigators can follow the clues we drop in this film, and if the DA chooses to pursue it, we can actually bring these guys in now, at least for a civil trial.
Right. All right. Well, the